and she'd probably be the worst candidate that they could field.
That is a Republican strategist, Stuart Stevens, slamming potential U.S. Senate candidate Lara Trump. Hello, everybody. David Shuster here.
You look at young voters, especially young men, 18 to 24 years old, they came out in such a big way for this president.
Television host, self-proclaimed analyst, and yes, Trump daughter-in-law Lara Trump is considering a new role. Over the weekend, Senate Republican Thom Tillis of North Carolina announced he will not run for re-election, and now there is this.
NBC News reports that among the Republicans considering a run to replace Tillis is the president's daughter-in-law, Lara Trump. Asked about the odds she does run, a source close to the Trump family said, quote, "I'd put it as high as one could be considering it. I know she's thoughtful and will pray on it, and it'll probably come once she is prepared. It could be sooner rather than later."
But here's the kicker. Political strategists from both sides of the aisle are already raising red flags, and not the kind flown at Trump political rallies.
I think she'd be a disaster for Republicans. Well, two things are true. The race probably would be over. She would win the primary, and she'd probably be the worst candidate that they could field. This has been a very tightly contested state. It's one of the states that Romney won and that Obama had won before. I don't think there's anything that's going on now inside the Trump world, what he's delivering, that makes him more popular in North Carolina.
In fact, polls show 60% of the electorate opposes Donald Trump's tax and spending bill. Trump only won North Carolina in 2024 by 3 points. It is, by all accounts, a swing state. Republican operatives know it. And even Jim Messina, a Democrat, Barack Obama's campaign manager, found rare consensus with his Republican counterparts.
I have some bipartisan agreement with Stuart on this one. Like, Lara Trump is a dream for Democrats. Like, she will lose that seat because she won't be
What
able
is it about her? Yeah, tell me.
She will not be able to separate herself from Donald Trump and all the things he just did. You know, a normal candidate can come out there and say, look, I disagree with the president on a couple of things. I'm a different kind of Republican. The way Thom Tillis won two very, very close Senate races. You know, he won by less than 2 points last time. This is a state that Trump only won by 3 points in the last election. It is the prototypical swing state. And Lara Trump will just own all the anger at what President Trump is doing to these voters.
Much of the anger is now being expressed by North Carolina Republican Senator Thom Tillis.
Republicans are about to make a mistake on health care and betraying a promise. It is inescapable that this bill in its current form will betray the very promise that Donald J. Trump made in the Oval Office or in the cabinet room. I'm telling the president that you have been misinformed. You supporting the Senate mark will hurt people who are eligible and qualified for Medicaid.
I think that Tillis clip you showed on the floor, you're going to see that in a whole bunch of campaign ads. And to your point, the Democratic Party is waiting to hear from on high with the wildly popular former governor, Roy Cooper, trying to decide whether or not he's going to run. It looks like he will. That is a very big moment. And I think if he looks at this race and looks at Lara Trump as his possible opponent, he's going to say, oh, hell yes.
Lara Trump is largely dismissing the criticism of her and her family. She says countless Democrats and Republicans are simply obsessed and cannot see straight because of Donald Trump.
I wish that some of these people who had obviously suffer from Trump derangement syndrome to such a high degree spent half of their time doing their job.
But back in the U.S. Senate, North Carolina's Thom Tillis says members of the GOP have abdicated their jobs and trying to rush through the Trump tax and spending bill. He points out that under the measure, the financial burden of health care on the states will increase dramatically.
We owe it to the states to do the work to understand how these proposals affect them. How hard is that? I did it. How hard is it? How hard is it to sit down and ask the Medicaid office, ask the legislative staff, ask the Independent Hospital Association what the impact is? If there's no negative impact, what's wrong with daylight? What's wrong with actually understanding what this bill does? But what we're doing, because we've got a view on an artificial deadline on July 4th, that means nothing but another date and time. We could take the time to get this right if we lay down the house mark of the Medicaid bill and fix it.
But taking time to truly understand the complexities of this bill is not the GOP plan. It's also not the approach of Donald Trump or his family on most things. For them, perception is reality, and they are rushing to create the policy perception that this bill will help the American people, and that politically, Lara Trump is a compelling and strong candidate to take the place of Thom Tillis in the U.S. Senate. Lara Trump herself insists she appeals to newer, younger GOP voters who supported her father-in-law in 2024.
Some of these people came out for the first time and voted for a Republican. We have an opportunity now to keep those voters. What President Trump is doing, my gosh, Charlie, look at just this week alone, the wins he scored for the American people.
Again, perception is reality in Trump world, and facts or objective analysis usually do not apply. But by most accounts, Lara Trump doesn't care. She's also not exactly the brightest person in GOP politics, and she proved that repeatedly while serving as Republican National Committee chair and making appearances on Fox.
That if you're a person who is attempting to cheat in our elections or an illegal citizen attempting to illegally vote in our elections, we will find you.
Did you catch that with Lara Trump? Here's the Republican chair slowed down.
Attempting to cheat in our elections or an illegal citizen attempting to illegally vote.
Raw story. Stupid Lara Trump ridiculed by critics after threat against illegal citizens. Keith Olbermann. There's a lot of illegal stupid in the Lara Lee Trump and Eric Trump household. Kathy Coleman. Illegal citizen? I think Lara's dumber than a pile of dumb rocks. Bruno Amato. Almost every person found guilty of voter fraud, a microscopic total of total votes cast, have been Republicans. And Mr. Newberger, when singing career doesn't work, dabble in fascism.
We're watching everything. We're filing lawsuits when necessary, and we're making sure we have people everywhere votes are being cast and counted to have eyes on everything.
And never mind eyeing everything. Just a few months ago, Lara Trump went even further.
Now have the ability at the RNC not just to have poll watchers, people standing in polling locations, but people who can physically handle the ballots. We want people all across this country.
Can we do this? I want to hear. This is really fascinating to me.
But people who can physically handle the ballots.
Physically handle the ballots? Party activists doing that would be illegal. Lara Trump has long been the butt of jokes. She keeps adding to it by posting videos of songs she has written and performed. People in the music business say her talent is mediocre at best. But that's better than the parenting grades Lara Trump triggered with this video. There are weird family values, and then there are Trump family values, including ignoring your crying kid, drinking Trump wine, and defending Donald Trump's lies. Still, if Lara Trump wants to run for U.S. Senate in North Carolina, Democrats should be rejoiceful. That will be the easiest of pickup states for Democrats in 2026. It will help the party take back control of the U.S. Senate. And it will once again raise the question among strategists in both parties: is Lara Trump the dumbest one in that family, or does that title still belong to her husband, Eric? By the way, the Trump embrace of crypto schemes is now becoming mortgage policy and threatens to crash the U.S. financial market.
Well, it's a very funny thing, crypto. So I became a fan of crypto, and to me, it's an industry. I view it as an industry, and I'm president.
Trump administration taking another step to integrate crypto into traditional finance. We're talking housing. FHFA head Bill Pulte posting on X, quote, after significantly studying and in keeping with President Trump's vision to make the United States the crypto capital of the world, today I ordered the great Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to prepare their businesses to count cryptocurrency as an asset for a mortgage.
Let that sink in. These agencies, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, don't issue loans directly. They buy them up, package them into securities, and sell those to private investors. And if any of those mortgages go bad, Fannie and Freddie are on the hook to cover the losses. So what happens when people get mortgages based on their crypto holdings and the crypto market tanks like it so often does? That's right, massive defaults and a new economic crisis.
One of the questions is, crypto is very volatile, unlike stocks and bonds. So does that make it more risky for Fannie and Freddie to take them on, companies that we know are really systemically important for the U.S. housing market?
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Secret Squirrel, who wrote, "This is disaster. Trump trying to make money at each of our expenses." Indeed. I look forward to reading your comments about Lara Trump getting roasted and ridiculed in bipartisan fashion over her possible U.S. Senate run. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.